Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a Juvias Place eyeshadow palette review. This is going to be the whole collection. So first off, I'm going to start off with their newly released palette, which I am wearing on my eyes today. I did a half cut crease and I paired it with the Too Faced Melted Matte liquid lipstick. Paired it with Evil Twin, which looks like this. This is what I'm wearing on my lips. But the palette itself is all over my eyes and I love it. The only color that I do not have that is from the palette, I used some of the shades in Chart Maneater palette. I used Meow, which is this really nice off-white shade, and then also Purr as my transition color. But other than that, everything else is from this palette. The reason I'm doing a full overall review is because I know that a lot of you guys have seen Juvias Place and maybe you guys support them or maybe you don't. I really love Juvias Place and I love that they are cruelty free. I think they come out with a really great formulation of eyeshadows. Personally, from my experience, I really love them, but I've never run into a lot of issues. I've never had to tell them to email me my tracking number or that package didn't get to me, anything like that. I've never run into major problems. I don't think I've ever had to email their customer service, but yeah, so I've never had any issues with their customer service. I've never had issues ordering from Juvias Place. I know that they came out with a gel liner duo with the Saharan palette, but that duo, that little bundle, sold out before I can get the gel in eyeliner included. So the gel eyeliners and the brushes and the little palette bundle are the only things that I don't own from them. But other than that, I pretty much have every single other thing that they've came out with. So without further ado, if you guys would like to see my opinions, this overall review on this whole Juvias Place brand, then just keep on watching. This is a Nubian palette by Juvias. As you guys can see, the art that it has here in the center is just very neutral, as the palette is, and none of these palettes come with mirrors, but here is what the shades look like. I hope you guys can see it. Yeah, here you go. With the ring light in the way, you guys can totally see the shades much more clear. But I do want to quickly say that these don't have names on them. Again, this was the first palette that they ever released. I love this palette a lot. I really love the mattes. I really do like the mattes. So the first shade that you have here in the first row is just like a duochrome kind of pink shade. This one is like a duochrome between a light gold and a pink. So it is a duochrome, but it looks really nice all over the lid, or if you want to add it into the inner corner. The second shade, and that's just like a light warm brown, and then a light caramel. This is going to be a caramel shade because I suck at explaining color names. And then you get a perfect transition color. This one is really smooth. I really love this one, and this one is definitely like a warm tone medium brown. I'm gonna suck at swatching these. One, my lighting is a little bit off when it comes to the swatches. As you guys can see, it's gonna look much more dark, and because I am filming with my back camera, I can't really see it. I only see it through my mirror, so I'm not gonna do complete swatches, but I will just swatch the shades that I have used. I've used pretty much every single shade in here except this shade right over here. Actually, these two. This first shade on the third row and this third shade on the third row I've never used, but every other shade in here I really do like. This palette comes with 8 shimmers and satins, because the 2 bottom ones are more of a satin, but the then you get 4 different matte shades. You get 2 that you can easily put as a transition color, and then you get a third one that can be used to deepen up the crease, but then a 4th one that can be used to really deepen up your outer V or even make this look a complete smoky eye. It's a very cool tone, deep chocolate brown. I really love the formulation. I think the blendability is really great. I'm pretty sure I've used this palette on my channel before, but I love it. I think the shades are super nice. I love that they're neutral. I love the variation of shimmers and satins. I know that it doesn't come with a cream shade. Maybe us with a lighter skin tone can use to set the lid, or a black shade, but I own many palettes. Like for example, the Maneater does come with a transition shade and then a off-white. So with a palette that's this neutral, I can just easily get it, especially because it's much smaller. I can just easily pull it out or pull out single shades or just any other palette. So it's not going to be, if you are a person that doesn't need a black shade or maybe a off-white shade for setting and then deepening up the crease, then this would definitely be a go for you. I think that so many people are always like so tired of a black and an off-white, but when they don't have it, they realize how essential it is. But me, just using an off-white shade from any other palette or just a single shadow from whatever brand that I have nearby works. And then this is deep enough for me because I'm not always using a black eyeshadow. And also I can just use a black base and add this on top and it'd be like the perfect smoky eye. So for me, I think that it has everything I need in it, especially a transition color, because I need a nice transition color for my eyeshadow looks. So I really like this. I think that the colors really complement each other. I love that there's warm browns, but there's also some berry shades that can be used to make the look more sultry and just more sexy. I think that these two shades are very beautiful. So this essentially is a really great palette just for anyone that loves neutral eyeshadows and also for someone that loves fall makeup looks. So I really do love this. This is one of my favorites. I will leave the product ounces and the price and the links down below. Okay, so the next one is the Nubian 2 by Juvias Place, and this is the one I use the least, but it is very gorgeous. This one does have the shade names. So as you guys can see, compared to the Nubian, this is much larger. So you guys are going to see the Nubian and the Nubian 2 compared to each other. This is so far I think the smallest palette, or it might be the Saharan, but this one comes in this mustard packaging and it has the little art, of course, in the front. The only thing I will have to say about this one, and if it's a pet peeve of yours, just like I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people's pet peeve, but you just have to be really careful because these do have fallout. That Zuri has a lot of fallout, so whenever you dip your brush into it, you may get shimmer all over the matte shades. That is an easy fix. You can just blow away the shimmer or grab a brush and make sure to flick off any shimmer that falls into those shades. But you do get 4 mattes in this palette. You get Morocco, which is a really nice orange shade. It's like a deep orange. You get Madagascar, which is a beautiful light cool tone brown. And then you get Jezebel, which is a beautiful plum shade. And then Kenya, which is, again, a cool tone brown. So I'm going to quickly swatch Kenya. So Kenya is going to be like right here. This is Kenya. And then I'm going to go ahead and wipe my finger. And I'm going to swatch the deep brown in here. Just so you guys can see the difference between these, because I know that I just described them. So as you guys can see, the one that comes in the Nubian is much deeper and also much more cool tone than the one that comes in the Nubian 2. I know that with first glance, a lot of them may look very similar. I completely understand that. From a picture, you can't really tell how the shade's going to look in person. That's why it's always really good to try to find a picture that's going to be in the most natural lighting, as well as just maybe seeing it in store. But of course, with these, you do only order them online. Anyway, you get the shade Ya, Sheba, Zuri, Cleopatra, Nefertiti, and then you get Nairobi, Layla, and Egypt, and those are the shimmer shades. Now, Nairobi and Cleopatra and Layla all have not as intense shimmer as Ya or Sheba or Zuri or Egypt. These are packed with a lot of shimmer, whereas these other 4 shades are a little bit more muted down. But they are still very shimmery. They are still very pigmented, as you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can see it. But yeah. Oh, and I have a broken nail. So there is Nefertiti. And I'll show you guys Ya so you guys can see the difference in like variation of pigmentation. where this one looks a lot more metallic and this one is a little bit more toned down with shimmer. So I do really love the Nubian II. I think that you can definitely add a light transition color, or even just go in really lightly Madagascar, because this is like a bit of a lighter shade for a transition color. But I do really like this palette overall. I think that if you do not have a lot of unique shades in your collection, this would definitely be one to add. The Nubian II is really gorgeous nonetheless, and you can come up with a lot of looks. And it is one to definitely use in combination with the Nubian palette. This is the Masquerade by Juvias. So this is the only palette that I've seen. I don't know if it's because it's really popular, but this one comes in a big pan. So it'll be the Masquerade by Juvias large, or you can just get the regular Masquerade by Juvias. If you are a person that does not love colorful shades, but you do want to try them out, I would just recommend getting the smaller version. But I really wanted the large one, so I waited for it to be back in stock. So this is what the Masquerade looks again. Of course, I completely understand that looking at this, you might think that it has comparisons to the Nubian. So this is the Nubian II once again. And this is the Masquerade palette. So I know that this has Cleopatra in it. And this one has Dahlia, but Cleopatra is much more of a navy blue, whereas Dahlia is more of a royal blue. And then you have Chi, which is more of a violet. And then you have Makeda, which is a purple. Zobo is, again, lighter in tone than Jezebel. You also have Calabar, which is more berry than Ya. And then Morocco and Madagascar. Madagascar is lighter than Burkina. So yeah, and I think Giza is more of a pink tone than Zuri. And then Dahia is more of a champagne. That would be really beautiful. It's more of a champagne compared to Zuri. Zuri is a lighter shade, if you guys can see in the swatch right there. But I will swatch them together so you guys can see the differences. So there is Dahlia, and then there's Zuri, which is lighter shade. So yeah, I know that at first glance a lot of people do think that they look very similar, but I'm showing you guys the ones that you guys might think look very alike in first glance, so you guys can see the differences in case you were hesitant to pick one up. There is Casablanca, which is lighter as well than Ya, and it is more warm than Sheba in the Nubian II. So this one overall, I really, really like. I love the Masquerade one. I don't reach for it as much as I would like to, but I think with the right transition shade, you can totally go in and use a colorful shade. Zobo is really, really beautiful. And then Bori I thought was matte when I first saw it, but it does have specks of golden shimmer. So this is more of a satin shade. And then Cairo has gold shimmer in it as well. And yeah, but the other ones are shimmer. So you get 4 shimmers on top. You get 2 shimmers in the second row. You get 1 shimmer and 1 satin in the third row. Then you get 2 shimmers in the fourth row, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mattes. So I think overall it is a good balance. It's like you get your colorful half and then your very neutral half. So I think that it's a really nice balance. I think that, again, if you're just someone that wants to go ahead and try color, it would be a very, very cute palette. It has a lot more bright shades, more of a colorful spectrum. It's not as muted as the Nubian II. So if you guys do want more colorful shades, I would definitely recommend this one. And again, it's really nice that they have in the large and also a small version. So just your preference on how much you like color, you can go off of that. Next, we have the Saharan palette, which looks like this. This one is the one that really blew up in my opinion. This one is the one that really blew up in my opinion, and I think it's a very beautiful palette. I love the shade Sokoto and Jamila. They are my favorite. I've done looks with these as well. Cactina is a beautiful, beautiful shade. Now I know that right away you guys want to see the Juvias Nubian and also the Saharan palette. This is the difference. The pan size is, of course, I believe the same. I think the pans are exactly the same. And Katsina does look very similar to this shade in the Nubian. And I would say that Katsina is just a little bit lighter, but they are pretty identical. They are very similar. Katsina is just a smidge lighter. You see Lulu, and then you can compare it to this first shade that you have right here, but Lulu is not duochrome. I hope you guys can see them. And then you have Senegal, which I know may look very similar to Casablanca. Casablanca is still packed with more shimmer, but here's Senegal. Here's Casablanca. Casablanca is just more copper than Senegal that's in the Saharan palette. And then Jamila, of course, is much more red than, well, actually, yeah, is like a matte version of Cairo that's in the Masquerade, and it is much more red than Morocco, which is in the Nubian 2. They do have a Dolce Vita palette that is coming out soon. I believe it is going to be their next release, if not the festival. So they're always asking for their customers' input on the comment area on Instagram. And I believe also on Twitter, so if you guys do want to see some shades from them, I've already requested a matte rainbow palette because I love their formulation so much. So I do want to see matte rainbow shades. Okay, so before we move on to the Magic by Juvias, I'm not sure if these came out first or the Magic, but I'm going to go ahead and start with her blush palettes. There's the Saharan Blush Vol I. And this one is definitely for my ladies out there that have a deeper skin tone. These would be perfect blushes on you. When I saw these, I was like, do I really want to spend the money and get blushes as eyeshadows? But they are super, super nice. Abby reminds me a lot of Jezebel, but this is much deeper. Zane is a beautiful shade. It's very bright. And then Toby is the most beautiful orange I've ever used. I love this shade. Lila and Zara would be perfect on the lid area, and then Zara is much more bronze, whereas Lila is much more chocolate, but they're still shimmery. And then there's Neo, which is beautiful for the fall, and this is just like such a pretty red shade. I really love these as eyeshadows, and I think that the price isn't bad at all. I forgot the price for these, but I do really like these. Of course, if you are a deeper skin tone, you can totally wear these as blushes or as eyeshadows, but I personally did pick up the Saharan Blush Vol I for an eyeshadow look. Next palette I have here is the Saharan Blush Vol I, and this is for people with more of a fair skin tone. Again, I kind of saw these. I'm not really a blush fan. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but Yara is a beautiful shade you can even use as a transition or to bronze. You get Tau, which is a beautiful coral. I really love this. It's really, really pretty. B is just this beautiful lilac mauve. Sola reminds me a lot of a shimmer from another palette, but this is just so pretty. I love these as eyeshadows, you guys, and I think that they are really, really beautiful shades. I love them a lot. I picked them up for an eyeshadow, but if you guys are into blushes, it might be something that you guys want to check out. Moving on to the Magic by Juvias. This does not come in a large or a small. This just comes in the large pan, so you can't really choose how big the pans are. But this is the exact same size as the Masquerade, which looks like this. Immediately once I saw this palette, a lot of people were saying that there's a lot of repeats. Immediately, Sakia looks a lot like Morocco. from the Nubian palette, as well as I think it looks a lot like Jamila, and I believe they're almost identical. If you guys can see that, they're really similar. If I have to say, one is more orange while the other one is more of a rust. So if that makes a difference to you, Zakia is not an exact dupe. They are not the exact same shade. I know that they make very similar shades where they have different undertones and they might look very similar. Again, this is why I think that reviews are very essential. You do get a navy blue and then a violet. So if you guys do want to do like a monochromatic look, you can totally use this in combination with the Masquerade, which comes with a navy blue. No, Cleopatra's the navy blue. Ife has one that's very similar to the Masquerade. I love this shade down here, and this one is just a very beautiful jewel green. I love that shade. And Fosso is just like this beautiful duochromatic lilac and baby blue, and it's just so freaking pretty. I love it so much. There's Vi, which this is like a silvery blue shade. Yamoha is also really nice. So there are some swatches for you. This I really love. Kogi is my favorite, and also Nana. I love Nana. And Kessie is beautiful to set your base. So it's a beautiful color just to set your eyelids. I'm gonna have swatches all over, but yeah, I really like this palette. I do think that it's more unique than any other palette that I own. They're always stepping out and doing new shades, whereas we see with other popular makeup brands that they're just kind of doing the same shade all the time, whereas you don't see anything like this on the market. I know Kat Von D comes out with a lot of other shades that are really colorful and very unique, as well as maybe like ColourPop. Sugar Pill makes a lot of like colorful shades, but they're not like in just one standard palette. You can just create it. Bizarre are really expensive. So as far as like being affordable, being very creative, and just stepping outside of the box is why I love Juvias Place so much. Don't even get me started on Zulu. This is my favorite. Like, I don't even have to tell you anything. The Zulu is my favorite palette that they've come out with. Once I open this holographic goodness, you guys will just see that it is the most pretty palette you've ever seen in your life. The orange is so beautiful. I love the yellow. Then there's a deep brown. You get this blue shade, a lime green, this aqua, this rose gold, a hot pink, almost like red berry shade, and then a purple. I love this palette so much. I've done so many looks. If you guys want to see looks with these Juvias Place palettes, if you guys do want to see the ones that I already have up, I will leave them linked down below as well. This one I just think has your colorful shades. I love that it has 6 mattes and then you have 3 shimmers. I would have wished that it would have been all matte, like maybe throw a red shade in here, because I love matte shades a lot more than shimmers, but the shimmers are still very beautiful. The lime green, the aqua, and then the rose gold, I mean, they look so nice together. But me personally, just me, my consumer preference, I love a matte shade more, and there's not a lot of matte lime greens on the market that are affordable or that are done right. So I love the Zulu palette. That one actually, I know that off the top of my head is, I believe, $17.50 or $21, but I will leave the prices and the product ounces, of course, on the screen. I love this. I believe this is the first of their 9 pan. So, of course, the last palette is the Saharan II by Juvias, which is beautiful. So this is what this palette looks like. Today on my lids, I'm wearing Tassa as a, almost like a transition. I'm wearing Zora all over my crease, and then on my lid I did a little bit of Marrakesh on my lid, but I added Aziza to my inner corner as well as in the front of my eyes. The blendability of this palette, of course, is amazing, just like the same formulation as their other ones. I don't think that any are done any less better than the next. I think that the formulation stays very consistent in Juvia's Place, and I love that. Of course, they didn't just keep like the background the same. They're kind of stepping out of the box. So this one does have a print on it. And then these do have shade names unlike the Zulu. So I love this. Again, I know that these two shades may look very similar to the Magic palette. Of course, I will do a comparison. But this is Yamoha, which is, here we have Chef. I'm going to butcher these names, so I'm just going to add them on the screen. But this is more of a mint, whereas Yamoha is more of a silver blue. Aziza is not in this palette, and I can tell you right off the bat, it's more of like a light gold champagne duochrome. So it doesn't look like the one in the Nubian. You don't look like the ones in the Nubian or the Nubian 2. They are different types of cream. Beautiful, just like berry shade right here. It's very pretty. I love their metallics so much. I love their matte, but I really love their metallics. So this is just overall such a pretty palette. It's not the most unique. Like, I know that the blue shades, if you were to cancel them out, and the peach, it would look very similar to maybe like a Morphe palette or something that we've already seen. But I think these three shades just make you want to step out of your comfort zone. I think that you can totally do Taza and Fez and then just add Berber all over your lid, and that can be a perfect fall shade. You can use that for New Year's Eve. You can totally add this beautiful mint shade as a inner corner highlight. And then the peach, even now that it is fall, I decided to pair it with a dark lip, and it just looks very fall inspired. So there's different twists. I like that they throw in those like different colors that we haven't really seen before, just to kind of inspire you to try something out of the box. I think that Juvias Place really does a perfect job when it comes to creating different varieties of color and variations put together. I definitely think that they do think the process of their arrangement of eyeshadows very well. Some may be a little bit odd to someone that just loves neutrals. I love neutrals as well. I really love eyeshadows, but I also love something that I know is going to bring something into my eyeshadow collection that I don't have in another palette. Although in these palettes you don't have like a matte cream or a matte black in every single one, it does come with different pops. And if you were to just have these palettes in your collection only, you would get a lot for your money. Of course, I just think overall I really love their eyeshadows. I really like their blushes. I do want you to try out that bundle. If you guys do want me to try out the bundle, then I'll make sure that I add that to one of my next products to review. And as well as if you guys would like to see any different looks with these, let me know. I really just came up with this look today because I had time to play with my makeup. Usually I'm in a rush or I have places to be, and I don't get to really play with a lot of different color combinations. So I hope you guys enjoyed like this little, well actually like this very long review of Juvias Place. I just kind of wanted to set everything on the table and kind of just show you guys the different palettes that they have. I know it can be very overwhelming, even though a lot of people do own all of them. I know that a lot of people are very hesitant and order each one at different times. Me personally, I'm a person that if I like something, I'm just kind of an impulse buyer and I will just buy it all at once, especially just because they do have only free shipping on orders over $100. So if you see all of them in stock and you save your money, I think that's a better deal than paying for shipping, just because your girl does not like paying for shipping, you already know. So I like these palettes a lot, but that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as leave a comment down below letting me know if you guys have Juvias Place and your thoughts on them. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already. We're almost at 300 subscribers, and I've mentioned in another video before that at 500 subscribers I will be doing a giveaway. So make sure to subscribe if you guys want a giveaway soon. And if you guys did find this helpful, then make sure to share this video. And if you guys would like to, you guys can tag Juvias Place just so it helps, not even just so they can see it, but just so it helps anyone else that may want to know about Juvias or try Juvias. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one.